Hello guys, and welcome to mattsbeamer. Today I'm going to explain to you about the fuse boxes on the F20 F21 generation BMW 1 series. One thing I will say is though, just remember that some cars could vary in very minor ways, so be sure to double check your BMW's fuse box information sheet. Back to basics. What is a fuse? There are a few variants used on the car. On this car, they use two different sizes. The purpose of a fuse is to break if too much current is sent through it. If you have a 5 amp fuse and 6 amps goes through it, the wire in the fuse will break and that circuit will stop working. If you put a high rated fuse in place, the fuse will not break and too much power will be sent through the circuit, causing electrical damage and can even cause a fire. There are two main fuse boxes on this Generation 1 series, plus other places in the car where fuses are located. The front fuse box. The front one is located underneath the bonnet. If you want to know where other things are, underneath the F20 bonnet, I have also made a video for that too. In fact, I make quite a lot of F20 F21 videos, including DIY and informational ones. If you want to see more, just click subscribe. And if you hit the bell icon, you will never miss another video. My car is left-hand drive, so the front fuse box is located in the top left-hand corner of the engine bay. Right-hand drive cars have it located in the top right-hand corner. This houses fuses 18 to 70. How to access the front fuse box? First of all, open the bonnet by pulling the bonnet release twice. With the bonnet up, head over to the top corner and find the top cover. Undo these 3 10mm bolts, just a little, to help release the top half of the black cover. Now, push this clip in down here. Now you will see the fuse box. To open the fuse box, you will need to press in these 4 clips. When they are all pressed in, you can remove the lid. Here are all the fuses. When you close the fuse box, make sure the lid of it is put on nice and tight. The last thing you want is for water to get inside. Fitting the trim is the reverse of dismantling the rear fuse box. It is much easier to gain access to the rear fuse box. First of all, open the rear hatch. Then, lift up the boot floor. Here is your rear fuse box. This fuse box houses fuses 100 till 166. This fuse box has 2 special features. A tool which helps you remove the fuses. The wider end is for the bigger fuses and the narrow end is for the smaller fuses. The second feature is a sheet which tells you all you need to know about the fuses in the fuse boxes. I will explain the sheet later on. The REM module. There are 5 fuses located just behind here on the REM module, which stands for the Rear Electronics Module. This is how you can gain access. First of all, clear out your boot. Next, remove the parcel shelf. To remove the parcel shelf, you will need to release these 2 clips up here. Then, you will need to pull the shelf towards you. There is no need to use much force. Next up is to remove the boot floor. If you can, fold down the rear right-hand seat Unfortunately, I can't do that so easy as I have a baby seat in place. Now what we need to do is to remove this piece of trim just here. It is held on by 4 plastic rivets. To release the rivets, you need to use a flat tool, such as a flat-headed screwdriver. You basically need to lever out the centre pin. Do it gently so you don't snap the top off. It is easy to show you the side profile on the rivet so you will understand how it works. With the 4 rivets out of the way, you can then remove the black trim. Next up is to remove the boot lighting. To remove the lighting, you will need to use the flat-headed screwdriver or a lever tool. Now you can lever out the plastic lens, but be very careful as the bulb will be hot. Now you can disconnect the plug from the light unit itself. Some cars will have extras in the boot. If you have a 12-volt power socket, to remove this, you will need to use the flat-ended tool again. You will need to leave out the socket from the top. And when it's popped out, you will need to disconnect the plug. If your car has a latch and eye, which helps you strap down the luggage, it will need removing. First of all, pop off the little cover, which will grant you access to the screw. When it comes to refitting the latch and eye to the body, you will need to torque it down to 19 meters of torque. The oddments tray is a special storage area which will need to come out too, which is also very easy. Just get a flat-ended tool and lever it upwards as shown, and it will be loose to remove. Removing the rear right-hand side luggage compartment rear latch cover. This can be very fiddly to some. Well, it was for me anyway. So please make a note on how you remove it. This is how I removed it. I pulled the cover from the very bottom towards the centre of the vehicle, being very careful not to rip anything. When the bottom was away from the area, I loosened it towards the back, which is near the seat itself. You must make sure that the cover is taken away from the hook, just here. Then what I did was pull the cover down so it came away from the top trim, which holds the parcel shelf in place. I hope this video makes sense if you watch it. Here is the REM, Rear Electronic Module Control System, which houses the fuses 80 to 85, plus a few big plugs. Refitting is the opposite. You just have to work the trim back into the certain holes they came from. For example, behind the rear seat cushion, and working it back up into the top cover and lining. Also make sure that the rubber strips are positioned over the top of the actual cover itself. fuse box sheet. As you will know by now, there is a glossy piece of paper in the rear fuse box. This gives you the information of the two main fuse boxes in the car and the hidden REM. I will make a video of the FEM, which is located in the front of the car. FEM is for the front electronic module. How to understand the sheet. At the very top on the front hand side, you will see a diagram of the front fuse box. The rectangles with numbers inside are the fuses. The smaller rectangles are for the smaller sized fuses, and the bigger fuses are illustrated by having a bigger rectangle. The front fuse box houses fuses 18 to 70. Just be aware that some fuses may be missing due to the car not having certain features. Some of them are empty anyway. To the right of the fuse box diagram are two diagrams of a car, which both show you the location of the front fuse box. On one of the cars, you will see RHD, which stands for right-hand drive. LHD stands for left-hand drive. Moving on down, we have a table. NO means number, which refers to the number of the fuse. Ampere, known as amp, basically shows you the type of fuse that is used. As you can see, fuse number 18 should have a 15 amp fuse in the space. Do not put a different amp fuse in this position. It can cause a lot of electrical damage and may even cause a fire. If you look at fuse number 30, it has a dash in the amp reading. This basically means there should be no fuse in this gap. If you want to know what the amp of a fuse is, look on top of the actual fuse itself. There will be a number on top of it. Back to the sheet. The second diagram in the centre is the REM, which houses fuses 80 to 85. The big rectangles are all the big plugs. Under this diagram is a small table with the 5 fuses and their amp readings. The bottom diagram is the fuse box, which is underneath the boot floor. This shows the location of fuses 100 to 166. The information for this fuse box is on the reverse side of the sheet at the top. Also on the reverse side, you will see many symbols. I couldn't find much information out about the symbols, so I had to try and work them out myself, so I apologise if some of these are wrong. I always suggest that you double check everything I say. Next to each symbol are numbers. These numbers are basically the number of the fuses which refer to the symbol. For example, the ABS and DSC symbol has the numbers 25, 29 and 58. So if you have problems with the ABS or DSC, you will need to check out these 3 fuses. Here are what I think the symbols mean on the sheet. When you see a diagram of a car on the lift, I believe it means take the car to the service centre. I will try and figure out a way to find out where these fuses are located. to check a fuse. The most basic way to check a fuse is to pull each fuse out and check to see if the wire going from each post is still intact. Anyway, I hope this video is okay for you. I'm so sorry it took so long to make a video for this channel. I've been very poorly lately. Anyway, take care and thank you so much for watching.